Imagine hearing a doctor say that you are missing a core aspect of what it means to be human. Or imagine that a psychologist told you that helping you is like constructing a person. Now imagine hearing those kinds of messages over and over from healthcare professionals, teachers, and maybe even your own parents, and you might have an idea of how autistic people feel. This quote, taken directly from the pioneer of one of the most influential autism therapies to date, is just one example of how autistic people are constantly described with dehumanizing messages, or messages that portray them as less than fully human. Obviously, these messages affect autistic people, but they affect non-autistic listeners as well. In fact, non-autistic children might be particularly influenced by the dehumanizing ways that adults talk about autism. If they don't know anything about autism yet, how do these kinds of messages affect what they think about their autistic peers? And can it lead them to view their peers as less than fully human? Over the past year and a half, I've met with hundreds of kids over Zoom to answer those exact questions. In the Zoom calls, I tell kids a story about two different characters representing two different groups that share common characteristics of autistic people. But I describe one of the groups with the kinds of dehumanizing messages that, based on existing research, kids might already hear about their autistic peers. For example, that they're missing something in their brains, or that they can't understand other people. I describe the other character with humanizing language. For example, that their brains are just different from other kids, and it might look like they don't understand other people even when they do. Then, after the stories, I ask kids to rate the groups on established dehumanization skills like this one. So basically, I'm asking them to explicitly rate how human the groups are. Across multiple studies, I find that kids think the group described with dehumanizing language is less than fully human, that they should be educated in separate classrooms, and that they're less able to make their own decisions about how they live their lives. While these results should be obvious, they show that dehumanizing messages like the ones on the screen are not just words, but that they can negatively affect how people are viewed and subsequently treated. I want everyone who's listening today to carefully consider the ways that you talk about people who are different from yourselves, and to reflect on ways that you can move away from dehumanizing messages towards more humanizing ones, informed by the ways that autistic people view and describe themselves.